Now, Local Planet is the world's largest independent media agency network who sets out to help its clients seize growth opportunities globally through local excellence and expertise. Now, the network recently hosting a number of its global partners in Cape Town to discuss collaboration, disruption, and what the media landscape holds in 2019.
The concept of Local Planet was really to enable the world's best independent agencies to have an aperture or an opportunity to work for international clients. And from a client perspective, I kind of invented it to give clients an alternative in the market. It was my firm belief that there are certain clients who are not getting what they deserve from the huge holding companies. They're not being prioritized. And so I wanted to basically give those kinds of clients an opportunity too. And we say business is personal. It's about access to the best talent, to the best people. It's about access to the best deals. And the larger networks, by definition, prioritize and give the best value, people and talent to their largest clients.
Well, as we know, I mean, the digital evolution, it's not evolving, it's happened. I mean, the way in which we gather our news has changed. The way we engage with different social media platforms has changed. So people are accessing media on a need basis. And I mean, we as planners and strategists need to tap in and understand how people are consuming. All the new resources and the buzzwords around content and storytelling. We're just setting up what we call Local Planet Studio, for example, focusing on producing content which clients need now. The whole media game is changing, the landscape is changing. 10 years ago it was about media buying muscle and cost per points and so on. Now the new buzzwords are content and storytelling and boutique answers in local markets.
There are a new range of technologies that are around the corner. We talk a lot about AI and we talk about virtual reality and artificial intelligence. Those things are important because they will have a dramatic impact on the way that we work and the way that we play.
It's the consumer who makes the pace right now. If you look at the mobile revolution, so it has been the consumer who has decided to use online via his smartphone. It has not been an industry, it has not been the advertisers, it has been the consumer. So the consumer is ahead and he tells us where we have to go right now.
So the relationship then between a brand and a consumer within this digital space that you're talking about has altered radically, hasn't it?
It has. In the good old days of advertising, the brand could decide which kind of message on which channel the brand wanted to transport to the consumer. It's the complete opposite way these days.
Despite the fact that there are more women than men graduating from tertiary institutions, women only account for around 32% of managerial positions. This according to the financial services company PPS. Now, PPS, that caters specifically to graduate professionals, then set out to break the stereotypes that exist around working women through a new social, digital and out-of-home campaign. And let me tell you some really attractive and eye-catching copy lines. With me, Dawn Ngwenya, Head of Communications for PPS, alongside Rob Jamison, Head of Strategy at the Promise Agency. To both of you, a very warm welcome. Great campaign. So what was the unique problem, Dawn, that you needed to have the agency solve?
The problem, Jeremy, was that as PPS, while we represent graduate professionals, 60% of which are women when they graduate at universities, that was not represented in our membership base. So we were also as lacking as South African corporates in terms of representing women in our membership base. And we realized that that needs to be corrected. So we needed to come up with a strategy that says to our women members, we recognize you, we realize that you're professionals in your own rights and that you still deal with stereotypes that create blockages in the corporate world.
So, Rob, your challenge then was to crack or bust the stereotype. What was the strategic approach?
Sure, I think it was quite a difficult one. I think, when we started looking at some of the statistics in the workplace, one of the things that was probably more profound to us, outside of the underrepresentation of women in the workplace, was that even when women are counted for in the workplace in managerial positions, the stigma that they're forced to deal with is something that's also, it's not okay. And they face so many different stereotypes on a day-to-day basis. And we just thought, wouldn't it be awesome if we could actually turn those phrases into something that actually reflects their value, potential and power.
Dawn, how does that stigma, do you think, manifest itself in the workplace?
Women are still taken to be those people who are going to fall pregnant at some point, people who are going to go on maternity leave and therefore create a problem or a gap in the working environment. So you're not taken as just a woman who is skilled and qualified in the job that you come in there. There's always in the back of one's mind to say, oh, and she's about to get married, as I am. So, you know, she's going to get pregnant. And so therefore that means that you don't get as many opportunities as you ordinarily would.
Part of the success, Rob, of this particular campaign, I think, was the choice of character that you have. I'm assuming they're real people.
Sure. So, yeah, of course. I think for us, one of the most important things in the campaign was that it was authentic. Especially when you're doing purposeful work, the worst thing that you can do is be disingenuous. So for us, finding real professional women that could back up the work, that were proud to stand alongside this campaign and advocate the work was just so important for us. And I think it turned out really well, getting the right woman on board to talk about.
How did you find them, and how did you approach them? What did you ask of them?
So what we did is that we as PPS, we have this membership base that has professionals. So the important thing was to say, imagine if we put somebody that will be recognized as you drive past the highway and you see that billboard and you say, oh my goodness, that's my pediatrician or that's my lawyer. So we
the resonance, I imagine, would be far greater.
100% than if it's a model. Because with these copy lines, if you use that strong a copy line and that emotive a copy line, and then you put a model behind it, I think it loses the impact. So we spoke to our members and we told them about the campaign. We told them about the evocative copy lines and asked them if they would be part of that. And the response was amazing in that they had themselves experienced such stereotypes and kind of blockages in the working environment.
Can I ask him an awkward question?
Sure.
Put the agency under a bit of pressure, because this is what you do all the time. How many men and how many women worked on this campaign?
I think it was actually about a 50-50 split, to be honest. People across the agency and client side. Yeah, it was quite equal.
I think the client side tips it over to the women, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm interested because I'm being a little disingenuous here, but I wonder whether men, was the original creative idea from a female or from a male? I mean, do you remember that? Or does it make a difference, I wonder?
It was from men, it was from myself, but...
he says modestly, yes.
Modestly. But yeah, I mean, it is something that's quite funny, because in some of the commentary on social media, the questions that we were asked were, are these even real professionals or just models? It sounds like a man came up with this campaign. And yes, it might have originated there, but as you know, in advertising, an idea starts somewhere, but it doesn't always end up the same way it was originally planned out.
I salute you for being attuned to the problem as well, or to the issue that is at hand. So it's a good campaign. How do you measure the success?
So the success of campaigns like this has to be measured in engagement. This is not a leads-driven campaign where you're saying if we tick so many boxes, ring so many tills, is where it counts. I think it's the engagement in terms of people recognizing that as PPS we see the problem. We also acknowledge our women members that we have and profile them instead of using models. I think with the engagement that we've had on social media has been really, really important, because we've had some good insights from associations as well that some of these women belong to, who have said, okay, but have you looked at this? Do you realize when you say something like this is what it means? So we've had quite a bit of engagement from the public at large as well as the associations.
And just very quickly, part of what you want to do is exactly what Dawn is saying, is seed a sustainable conversation.
Exactly. And I think, one of the things that was greatest for us is it didn't only stick to South Africa, the conversation. The campaign started a social media movement in Russia where hundreds or thousands even of women were posting about the campaign, recreating the stereotypes and breaking them for themselves. Yeah, I mean, I think it did what we intended it to do, which is get people talking.
Dawn and Gwenya, good luck with your wedding.
Thank you.
And I hope you invited, Rob. Thanks for joining us. And as I say, it's a useful and I think a very engaging campaign. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.